Andrew, with so many issues going on in the world, I'm a little bit surprised you would ask such a question, although I'm not. Sometimes coming from you, I will say.
Karoline Leavitt, look, I'm not sympathetic to her, but Karoline Leavitt on a daily basis, her job is getting more and more and more impossible. Not difficult, impossible. And it is glorious to watch. It is chef's kiss. It is so good to watch Karoline Leavitt struggle, to watch her do the 50-yard stare, the 100-yard stare, just staring off into space with whatever that sad song that plays when people make memes about it. Hello, darkness, my old friend. It's like,
hello, darkness, my old friend. I've come to talk.
And yesterday during the press briefing, there's two questions she was asked that I want to get into. One is this bizarre story that Donald Trump went off on a jag during his trip to Pennsylvania, telling just absolute fabricated lies about a conversation he had with his uncle about the Unabomber, Ted Kaczynski, being a former student. The problem lies in the fact that the Unabomber, Ted Kaczynski, didn't go to MIT where Donald Trump's Uncle Dr. John Trump, Dr. Uncle John Dr. Trump, or whatever he refers to him as. Maybe I'll play that clip later. He's indicating that he talked to his uncle about the kind of student that he was, and that his uncle replied that he was such a good student, he used to correct other people, go around telling people how they were wrong, because in his mind, that's what a good student does, I guess, is just a know-it-all neckbeard. I don't know. Anyway, there was this moment where a reporter asks the question about it, and her answer is not an answer to the question. It's not an answer to the thing anybody wants to know, but it got the reporter off her back for 5 seconds. So watch this, and then we'll talk about it.
Andrew, go ahead.
So on Tuesday, the president told a very detailed story about his uncle, noted scientist John Trump, and Theodore Kaczynski, the late Unabomber. He said that Dr. Trump taught Ted Kaczynski. Ted Kaczynski was not identified as the Unabomber until 1996, 11 years after John Trump passed away. It would have been impossible for John Trump to have ever discussed the Unabomber with the president. So what was he talking about? And I have one follow-up.
Andrew, with so many issues going on in the world, I'm a little bit surprised you would ask such a question, although I'm not. Sometimes coming from you, I will say, but I'm willing to give you an answer. Nevertheless, the president's uncle did, in fact, teach at MIT. He was a very intelligent professor. The president's very proud of his family. In fact, the president has a letter from his uncle on the MIT letterhead that sits in the Oval Office dining room. Maybe we'll let you see it sometime.
That's your clarification that the president's uncle did teach at MIT? Nobody contests that he taught at MIT. What's in contention here, what is unclear, is why Donald Trump said that he taught Ted Kaczynski at MIT when Ted Kaczynski did not attend MIT. Which means that and the fact that he wasn't even outed as the Unabomber until 10 years after Donald Trump's uncle died. All of it's a lie. Here's the moment, if you haven't seen it, in Pennsylvania, and know when you're listening to Donald Trump that every bit of this is a lie. So when you watch his face and the surety that he displays, he is rock solid. It's like he's just telling a story. The clarity that he's providing, relay that to other lies that he tells, other things that he tells. So when you see him talk and you're like, well, that seems, yeah, he didn't seem like he's lying. He's always lying. Watch this.
And I have to brag just for a second, because when I first heard about AI, it's not my thing. Although my uncle was at MIT, one of the great professors, 51 years, whatever, he was the longest serving professor in the history of MIT, 3 degrees in nuclear, chemical, and math. That's a smart man. Kaczynski was one of his students. Do you know who Kaczynski was? There's very little difference between a madman and a genius. But Kaczynski, I said, what kind of a student was he, Uncle John, Dr. John Trump? He said, what kind of a student? And then he said, seriously good. He said he'd go around correcting everybody, but it didn't work out too well for him. Didn't work out too well, but it's interesting in life. But I will say this, that we have the greatest brains, we have the greatest power.
Uncle John, Dr. John Trump, is that how he refers to his uncle? Hey, Uncle John, Dr. John Trump, do you what the blah, blah, blah? Wild. The other thing that came, there was many things that came up that led to her No Good, Very Bad Day, or however the title of that children's book goes. The other thing that's been happening is all the questions, all the controversy surrounding the firestorm around Donald Trump wearing makeup on his hands and his giant cankles that he can barely squeeze into socks and shoes that are being talked about online. He was asked about, the questions have been all over the place asking about it. And finally, she gave an answer to what is going on with Donald Trump wearing makeup on his hand and his giant elephant-like cankles. Watch this.
On another note, I know that many in the media have been speculating about bruising on the president's hand and also swelling in the president's legs. So in the effort of transparency, the president wanted me to share a note from his physician with all of you today. In recent weeks, President Trump noted mild swelling in his lower legs. In keeping with routine medical care and out of an abundance of caution, this concern was thoroughly evaluated by the White House medical unit. The president underwent a comprehensive examination, including diagnostic vascular studies. Bilateral lower extremity venous Doppler ultrasounds were performed and revealed chronic venous insufficiency, a benign and common condition, particularly in individuals over the age of 70. Importantly, there was no evidence of deep vein thrombosis or arterial disease. Laboratory testing included a complete blood count, comprehensive metabolic panel, coagulation profile, D-dimer, B-type natriuretic peptide, and cardiac biomarkers. All results were within normal limits. An echocardiogram was also performed and confirmed normal cardiac structure and function. No signs of heart failure, renal impairment, or systemic illness were identified. Additionally, recent photos of the president have shown minor bruising on the back of his hand. This is consistent with minor soft tissue irritation from frequent handshaking and the use of aspirin, which is taken as part of a standard cardiovascular prevention regimen. This is a well-known and benign side effect of aspirin therapy. And the president remains in excellent health, which I think all of you witness on a daily basis here. So the president wanted me to share that note with all of you. I'm happy to take further questions on it. We will provide the memorandum from the president's physician to all of you, as we always do.
What is with the Republican Party and not being able to shake hands without incurring just horrible injuries? Nancy Mace gets her hand shaken. My arm is broken, y'all. And then Donald Trump, he's so weak. Well, what happened to our mighty alpha male president? He can't even shake a couple hands without getting his little hand bruised. Come on. Those things don't line up. Look, do I think he is ill? Yeah, I don't think he's well. He's 80. He eats fast food quicker than he can. There's no speed at which he can't shovel it into his face. It's not good, right? Of course he's not healthy. But do I think he's ready to drop dead? Well, I don't know. He's sure trying to cover up something, right? Whenever you watch him answer questions in the Oval Office, this is something I've been talking about for months, that he covers his hand. And he doesn't use you know how he gesticulates wildly constant. He's like me. He talks with his hands, right? But not when he's in the Oval Office. One hand is over the other, covering the other at the desk the entire time. Doesn't move. Not normal. They're covering something up. And therein lies the problem. For me, the problem isn't that he has fat cankles or that he wears makeup on his hand. All of that is, I think it comes with age, just like a lot of Joe Biden's problems came with age. This is what happens when you elect 80-year-old dudes to be president of the United States. The problem for me lies in the cover-up. The problem for me lies in the lack of transparency, because we are owed a full understanding of the Bill of Health of the President of the United States. The most important position in the country, some would say the world. We are owed this. Donald Trump does not have a right to medical privacy. When you choose to take on this job, you forego that. You surrender that. That's no longer, you're not allowed a private citizen anymore. You have a right to privacy in your medical records. I have a right to privacy in my medical records. The President of the United States of America does not. The President of the United States has less of an expectation to medical privacy than a congressperson. Even Congress people have some more ability to say, hey, this is my private business. Yeah, you're right. You're not president. You don't have the nuke codes. David Pakman, I saw this tweet yesterday when I was looking through all this and finding the pictures and going through it. And he said it pretty well. He tweeted this: Trump's ankles are swollen, his hand is bruised and now covered with makeup. That's not normal. Possible causes: congestive heart failure, IVs, blood thinners. Of course, we have no idea, and this is the most important aspect of this, because the most transparent White House ever won't tell us a thing. And that is also a problem here. That this is hypocrisy. They act like they're the most transparent, free with the information. Even journalists act like, thank you so much for taking our questions. Even though all the questions are answered with lies that don't, it's an entirely different video, an entirely different topic. But we are owed information, and they are not being transparent. Even when Donald Trump, during the first term, everybody thought it was a medical emergency because they rushed him to Walter Reed, and he apparently it was like a colonoscopy or something. He's so afraid of his manliness being questioned that he can't even get a colonoscopy. Very weird. I've had, up to this point, maybe 6 colonoscopies after having cancer. Okay. Does it make me less manly because I have health care? Make it make sense. Anyway, what do you think? I would appreciate your feedback here. You can comment below. That'll help the algorithm to share this content, this channel, with new possible subscribers, and that could be your way to help me today. You can also call the voicemail line and leave me a fewer than 3-minute voicemail. Google will cut you off if you go over. Don't call back. Just leave one voicemail. Plan out what you're going to say. It'll be great. 714-576-4054. And of course, as always, you can email me daily@dollemore.com. I would love to hear from you. Anyway, I'll see you next time. Maybe I'll see you on social media. I'm at Dollemore. You can follow me there. Instagram and TikTok and Blue Sky, mainly Threads. I'm not on Nazi Twitter anymore, but everywhere else, at Dollemore. I love and appreciate you very much. Be genuine. Take care of one another.